chooses not to. There's the shot. The left-footed shot knocked away by Bursic. And the young goalie again did a good job.
Fine save by David Bursic. You cannot, that in fact was a classic save. The shot was well taken. Bursic too hot to hold it, but what did he do? He tipped it away and he tipped it out of play. This is Cato. Look at this lovely ball with the outside of his right foot. There he goes, out to the right. Weller all on his own there, deciding what to do, cutting in beside Riceberg, and left-footed shot. Beautiful save by Bursic. Put it away for a corner. In other words, did not put it back into play where it could have been picked up for a rebound.
Okay, so it will be a corner kick for New England. That's Weller again, their captain. Curling it towards the middle. That was towards Cato, but knocked away by Bursic.
Bursic did well on that because he had to go a long way for that ball. He decided he could not catch it. He punched it.
The score, 0-0, and there are 4:12 left. Keith Weller just took another shot for New England, almost a duplicate of
there's David Bursic. He might well smile because he's having a great game so far. He's done 2 perfect saves. He's getting almost a standing ovation from the crowd here.
Offside was called on that play, however, meaning that Weller did not have 2 defenders between him and the goal at the time the ball was passed to him. Not at the time he received it, at the time it was passed to him. Liverich, and a whistle.
Comprehensively flattened there by Artur. He's rolling over. There's a timeout called by the referee.
Looks like we'll have a direct free kick for the Cosmos. A direct free kick once again, just for the people who are new to the game. We hope you aficionados will bear with us as we'll
have a direct free kick and we'll have a wall lined up. You can see a player there with his hand up in the air. That's Daly. There's the wall.
Look at this wall.
Now that wall has to be lined up by the goalkeeper who's behind him. He has to decide that that wall is blocking part of the goal. Now he doesn't have to worry about that part of the goal.
They must be 10 yards away from the ball. There's the shot by Quinalia. Up and over the goal. And again, the automatic boos from some of the crowd here. We'll be right back at Giant Stadium. We return to the scoreless game between the New England T-Men and the New York Cosmos. There is a pass, a centered, saved again by David Bursic.
Well, Bursic, that's the second knock he's taken, but he's absolutely fearless. He's coming out with these crosses with no regard for his own safety. He's getting them, he's holding onto the ball. He took a hefty thump in the midrib there. He decides to go, and he's going to go. His eyes must be on the ball. He can't pay any attention to those players coming towards him. He's absolutely exposed, and you can see this terrific knock he takes in midfield, I think from Keith Weller.
Okay, here is Giorgio Canaglia all by himself. Can he get a shot? No. Kicked away by Simpson, the sweeper for New England.
Well, Canaglia with, to be honest about it, an awkward ball to control, a bouncing ball, and it does bounce high on this turf. He did a little ball juggling with it, flipped it up in the air, but at the last minute he just couldn't get to it. The defender got there first.
Okay, a corner kick for the Cosmos. Rick Davis heading it over to Liverich now. Liverich kicking it off a defender, and it goes out of bounds. I think it's into touch on the side there. Hard to tell in the corner. Yes, it's going to be a throw-in.
I'm a little surprised Stewart didn't go for that ball. I thought he could have got it.
All right, to Rick Davis. So there are 2 Americans very much in the picture for the Cosmos today, in the persons of Rick Davis from California, age 20, David Bursic, age 22, from St. Louis.
Yeah, and in fact, they both joined the Cosmos at the same time, and there was a little bit of a ruckus about it because they were players who were taken out of college. They were the first of what might be a new wave. The coaches were saying, we feel we can do more for these players on a pro team than you can do for them in college.
Quite a few of them, I believe, are continuing their college education in the off-season and in the city where they play. I don't know whether that's true of Ricky or not. 42 seconds left. We're near the end of the first half. And there is still no score between the Cosmos and New England. We will not hear a roaring cheer for the home team at halftime unless that goes in. But again, it was Mourinho way wide.
Well, Mourinho this time might have some excuse for that because he was conscious of the clock. There's only like 25 seconds left, and he knew something had to be done quickly. Canaglia doesn't agree with what I'm saying, very obviously.
Again, at halftime, Inside Soccer with Pele. Highlights of the first half, up close and personal of one of the players in the game. And there are just 10 seconds. Doesn't look like anybody could get anything going in that time. 6-5. And with some free kick for the Cosmos. 2-1. That's it. That should be it. Only the referee keeps the official time, though. Let's see. He hasn't blown the whistle yet. And there it is. At the end of the first half, it's the New York Cosmos, champions of the North American Soccer League. Nothing. The New England T-Men, nothing. We'll be back.
Not yet, but something in the vicinity of 45,000 here at East Rutherford this afternoon. Crowds going throughout the North American Soccer League. because this indeed is one of the fastest growing sports in America. That is particularly true among the youngsters, both boys and girls, participating in this sport in ever-increasing numbers. And that's one reason why we are so pleased to have as a special feature of our halftime telecast, Soccer Tips by Pele, perhaps the greatest player to ever participate in this sport. Inside Soccer is brought to you by Minolta, the easy-to-use automatic 35mm reflex cameras. Now Pele on the art of trapping.
Today we're going to talk about trapping. The possession of the ball is a very important in the game of soccer.
Trapping is a means of maintaining control of the ball during the game. For balls on the ground, the foot trap is the most basic method used. Notice that the foot is turned out to meet the ball, and notice how Pele cushions the ball. You don't want to push your foot into the ball, but instead draw it back. Provide a cushion. Make the ball react as softly as possible. You can also trap the ball with the sole of the foot. This is useful if the ball is coming directly at you, and if the playing surface is bumpy or uneven. For balls coming toward you in the air, use the thigh to trap the ball. Notice how Pele uses the upper part of the thigh, not the area near the knee. Again, many of the principles of the foot trap apply here. There must be a certain amount of give, a cushion. You want the ball to come in as softly as possible, and you should always keep your eyes on the ball. The thigh trap is particularly useful for balls dropping toward you from above your head. For a ball coming at a more direct angle, use the chest trap. Again, use the upper part of the chest, not the area down near your waist. And provide a cushion, trap the ball as softly as you possibly can. Keep your arms well to the side to maintain balance. And keep your eyes focused on the ball all the way into your chest. Trapping, demonstrated by Pele, a very important skill in soccer.
The Minolta
1,000 gathered here watching this game. I'm Jim McKay. With me is our resident expert on the sport of soccer, Paul Gardner. How would you sum up the first half?
Well, we said it was going to start out tentative. It did. On the other hand, both teams certainly attacking a great deal, and I think both coaches probably reasonably satisfied with what they did. There were chances at both ends, not taken, unfortunately, but certainly for the Cosmos point of view, David Bursic, a success story, did remarkably well to keep out 2 shots towards the end of the half there.
Well, then why don't we take a look right now at David Bursic, this young goalie in action, getting his first chance to start a game for the Cosmos, and in their home stadium.
Now, this was a lovely bit of work. This is Cater on the ball. Runs the ball forward, sees Weller on his right. At the last minute, away goes the ball. Weller running onto the ball. Now, Reisbergen across the cover, but Weller pulls it back and hits it left foot. And this marvelous save, you see, because Bursic was going to his right, then he had to move to his left, and he got the ball out of play. He didn't push it back where it could be collected for a rebound. Lovely save from David Bursic. Now, we had a similar save not long after that, actually, across from the left wing here. The ball moved across, and again, oh, this is a different one where, in fact, he goes up in the air and he takes a... Oh, what a whack he took there from Keith Weller. But he got up, shrugged it off, and held onto the ball again.
But so far, it's been a most impressive debut for 22-year-old David Bursic of St. Louis, USA. We'll be back in a minute. Stadium, the scoreless game between the Cosmos and the New England T-men. We're still at halftime. One of the things we like to do the most, as you probably gathered by now around ABC Sports, is to get you to meet the athlete, to know them a little bit in depth. How about Ricky Davis, the 20-year-old American, number 17 of the Cosmos? Why don't we meet him now, as we say, up close and personal. Ricky Davis could be the first American superstar of soccer if he keeps up his present rate of improvement. But when you're 20 years old and 3,000 miles from home and it's pouring rain, star or no star, a guy needs company, like, say, a kitten.
I recently expressed my opinion to a few fans that I was looking to get a kitten or two. And at the time, I didn't know what I was getting into because these cats have turned up to keeping me up all night, and they're just so playful. They're wearing me out, and I think they would be better off on a soccer field than I would. Well, I grew up in California, and the environment and the lifestyle of living is completely different than over here. I made the transition in 1977 when I signed with the team, and it was a big step for me. I was always very close to my parents and enjoyed the family life, and in moving here by myself, end up more or less having to do things on my own was quite a jump for me. I feel as though I've adjusted fairly well, although I still have quite a bit to learn. I'm still having problems keeping my apartment clean. I still sometimes wish that my mother were here to do it, but I like to relax a lot when I'm at home, when I have the chance to be home, where I enjoy cooking quite a bit. I, remembered in junior high school I entered into a boy chef class, and ever since then I've enjoyed cooking. It's almost holds the same challenges that soccer have. It's the kind of thing that you know when you're doing well, because if you taste it and you like it, then you've succeeded. So I enjoy experimenting when I cook and enjoy it very much. I never saw myself as becoming a pro as a kid. I had wild dreams about it and had really kind of hoped that I would one day, but I never saw myself as doing it. I think one of the advantages that I have in entering in the league at such a young age, I'm 20 years old, I have approximately 4 or 5 years until it is labeled that a soccer player reaches his prime. So I'm hoping that in those 4 or 5 years I'll be able to learn and become accustomed to the game the way my idol Pele did.
Ricky Davis, an ambitious Yank among foreigners of great fame. The first American to reach the heights in soccer. Many of the experts say yes. Young Rick Davis of the Cosmos. There's the score again. We're nearing the start of the second half, and it's 0-0. Today's New England Team N New York Cosmos game is being brought to you by Minolta, the easy-to-use automatic 35mm reflex cameras, the automatic choice for action photography. By Fiat, makers of the new front-wheel drive Fiat Strada. Strada, beautiful, comfortable, original, another Italian work of art. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.